Langham Partnership aims to resource 650 libraries in almost 100 countries with contextually relevant, Christ-centered and biblically informed literature over the next year. To talk about this in more detail, I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Simon Folds from Langham, UK and Ireland. Simon, first of all, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thanks for inviting me. Good morning.
It's a pleasure to have you on the programme. Why is it important for you to get Christ-centered resources into the hands of pastors around the world?
We're part of a faith. The Christian faith is wonderful and it is growing at a huge rate. And that's wonderful. But it also means around the globe, there's a lot of people that have faith, but the depth of their faith is quite shallow because they haven't had that preaching and teaching to them. So getting preachers around the globe to have that theological training and the books that they need to have that training, that they can then pass that knowledge and that belief on to followers around the world is important because we get knocked in life, and if people haven't got that depth of faith, they can soon drift away, unfortunately. But if they've got that depth of faith, when they do get knocked, they know God is next to them. So that teaching is so important, and that teaching comes from books.
Are you able to tell us about some of the countries that will be benefiting from this?
It literally is around the globe. It's what we call the majority world. So it's South Asia, Africa, Latin America. One that springs to mind is a theological college in Uganda that we had on a Zoom call end of last year to some of our supporters, and he was just jumping up and down with excitement that these books were coming to his college. Just as you said in the introduction, that they are able to choose books that are relevant to the courses that they want to teach, relevant to their culture, and increasingly more written by people from the local area, so they know that it's relevant to their situation rather than somebody else's situation. So he was just loving these books coming in. There's this image of the one volume African Bible commentary, and it's so just imagine this book so worn, the spine's falling off. It's really well thumbed. It's dog-eared. And in one instance, I want to say, "Oh, I just love you to get a new copy." But on the other hand, you just know that book is being read and loved, and that these people are so desperate to teach and preach God's word accurately, and that book describes that. But if they do want a new one, they can have it. But I just love that image of it being so well worn and well loved.
Here we are in the UK, and today we're talking about World Book Day. Simon, do you think we take our easy access to Christian books and literature for granted?
I think we do. I think, when we've been, when you're at a convention or you're in a Christian bookstall, and there's all these books, and of course we can go online and we could have the book with us by tomorrow, or, even delivered to your Kindle or whatever they say, within seconds. And it's easy, isn't it? I'm as guilty as anybody that we look at those books and think, oh, that sounds interesting. I'll buy that. Have I read it? No. It stayed there on the bookshelf, waiting to be read. So we do take it for granted. And I think this is a good wake-up call for us that, there's people around the globe that would love that access to books that we do take for granted. That isn't the situation around the globe.
So, Simon, just as a final question there for you then, as we mark World Book Day, what would you say to encourage us to think about whether it's time for us to dig out that Christian book that we've always wanted to read?
I think encourage myself as well. I think definitely. I go back to that image. If you can picture that image of this gentleman holding the one book, African Bible commentary, and it just being so loved, he just wanting to delve into that book, learn more, know more about God. And that's the case, whatever that book is that's on your bookshelf that's not being read, that's what that book's there for. It's crying out to just deepen your faith. Pick it up, do it today, start reading it, and God will take you on another journey yet again, and deepen your faith even more by what's said in that book. So no, go for it. It's happening around the globe. Needs to happen here as well.
Simon Folds from Langham, UK and Ireland, thank you so much for being with us today.